Welcome to the second half of the Philadelphia Eagles hosting the Dallas Cowboys in the strategies of football. As with the first half, we're going to show you the direct coaches tape and show exactly what happened in the plays. And we're going to isolate on a couple of key plays that showed the themes of this game as they've been going on, as well as some things that could be improved that were good and bad from both sides. And we hope that you enjoy the coaches tape as we present the strategies of football from local football flavor. This play here is going to be an inside zone to the right where we're going to see everyone cutting to the right to block, which works well until we get to Mr. 89 here, Stoll, who has nobody to block and literally doesn't hit anyone on this play. Thus, as a result, we have the defender right here completely unblocked, and the only hope of getting him out of the tackling lane is that he follows with a play fake. Now, play fakes can be effective, obviously, but when you're trying to fake a read option play with two tight ends on that side of the field, it rarely works out. So as a result, the Eagles are letting a man on the line of scrimmage be unblocked, just come in and make the tackle. And, at the end of the day, Kearse is just getting an easy tackle here. It can easily be adjusted, and we're going to show you how that they could have fixed this right now. And it's not really even that complicated. So you could still do the same motion of everyone cut down. I mean, that's not the hard part. Just have Stoll right there. I mean, it's a one-on-one chip block. Now, instead of the closest unblocked man being in the box, now he's 6 yards from the line of scrimmage and outside of the tackle box to the left. You're giving yourself just a much better potential for gain on the play. And the difference between 3 yards on a running play and 5 yards on a running play is absolutely massive. And I invite anyone who hasn't, check out Football Outsiders for their DVOA formulas, because it's true. If you get in down and distance that are always manageable, you're going to win and control games. And this is a very easy adjustment that just could have been done. As I mentioned in the first half, the Cowboys have been blatantly copying the Eagles' plays, but to no success. When the Cowboys did this in the first half, it was an incomplete pass, fourth down, everyone punts. This is the Eagles' first drive of the second half, and I think they did this intentionally just to say, hey, we can run this better than you. That's why we're up 20-3, and we're going to keep beating you in any way we want. The Cowboys got a coverage sack. Donovan Wilson specifically gets a coverage sack here on Jalan Hurts. And it's the only time all game that they bottled up the combination of Brown, Smith, and Goedert. It's remarkable that it's only happened once, but it's something to point out when it does, because it's really hard to accomplish. When the Cowboys needed to start running the ball, they needed a lot of things to go right in their favor. And we're going to break down in this play exactly what they are. So first, schematically, we're going to see a very smart decision in the fact that Davis here is an absolute monster, so they got to double team him, which ends up putting a backside block of one-on-one on Fletcher Cox, which very few people in the NFL are going to be able to successfully come away from that battle. So we're going to fast forward it here to right here. That is holding right here. You can see anytime that the offensive lineman does not have his back to the ball, the opportunity for holding flies through the roof. The other main advantage that the Cowboys get on this play is that Tony Pollard just is not seen right here. And as a result, he's able to sneak through and get a couple yards. It takes three major changes, getting away with a holding call, hoping the safety doesn't see Tony Pollard, and double team Davis. But with those slight cracks that the Cowboys experienced in the beginning of the second half, that was how they started to get their running game going. And once they took the ball out of Cooper Rush's hands, the Cowboys started showing a very dominant offense. Dominant in relative to the fact that they're playing one of the best defensive fronts in the league, and they were able to run the ball off it. And at one point, they brought this game back to being within 3 points. This play showed a universal trend throughout the game that the Cowboys were unwilling to accept or learn. Do not run the ball at Fletcher Cox and Haason Reddick. They will push penetration back, and you're not going to be able to go anywhere. Tony Pollard has no chance on this outside zone when the linemen are hitting him 5 yards in the backfield. And the backside of the Eagles defense is so disciplined against the run. This is a phenomenal play, and just all the way around. It starts with Cox and Reddick, and the backside covering it up. This team could stop basically anyone. And I do think you got to start considering them as a legitimate team that could beat the Bills. So in this play, we're going to see an argument that says you don't need to run the ball effectively to do play action. And while I don't exactly agree with that notion, because the defense does need to see a threat of the run, whether it be through volume or effectiveness, you can't just run it twice and say, oh, there will be a play action threat. So this play does have a fundamental flaw, and it's not because Cooper Rush is running it, it's because of what they're asking Cooper to do. So I want you to watch Cooper Rush's hips on this play. He's rolling out to his left, and as he has to go deeper to flip his hips, it makes it much more difficult to put any strength on that throw, which is essentially weakening it for him, which is why you see most right-handed cornerbacks rolling to the right because they can get a strong push off. This is essentially just a lollipop throw in terms of NFL arm strength caliber. So the notion that we haven't been able to run the ball at all to the right side because Reddick has been crushing it. They finally catch it when Reddick's not on the field on the right, so the play action gets an overcheat to it. It just flawed from the start. I would, if I were them, do the play action to the left where the running back motion goes to the left, because in general they run the ball better either directly up the middle or to the left, and especially against the Eagles in this game, and then let your quarterback roll to the right where he's more naturally dominant. Now, obviously, the opposite is true for left-handed quarterbacks. Drew Brees made the argument that you should play action verticals 5 to 8 times per game. And the reason for it is very easy to conceptually grasp. The play action sucks the entire defense in towards the quarterback in the line of scrimmage, leaving opener gaps downfield for your deep throw in the verticals. Or if the defense wants to choose to just hang back and only play the deep game, it allows much more easy running lanes in the middle. It effectively is a play that forces the defense to choose, am I playing tight or am I playing far? And with this game, the fact that the Cowboys couldn't really do anything and the Eagles were daring them to put the ball in Cooper Rush's hands. In the first half, it was wildly unsuccessful. You see why the Eagles easily chose, let's just have him throw it. Eventually, he'll throw us the ball again. And he does eventually do that a little bit later on in the game. The Cowboys get their offense when they start doing double team blocks and the rollouts to go and get this running game moving. Zeke sets this play up by kicking to the outside to suck everyone here before rolling in. It helps take the extra defenders, like the secondary men, out of the play, at least momentarily, to give him an extra angle through the hole. It's plays like this is why I say that Zeke definitely has stuff left in the tank, because this is advanced football to know you're going to roll back through it and get yourself essentially 5 extra yards. The other part of this play that I'm going to call in a second time around is going to be Zach Martin. Zach Martin is going to be your guard who goes over to Kyzir White right here. So in a traditional double team, you'd hope that it would be much more like it is here on the left. Engagement here for a minute, and then we can pin out here. But because Zaire White is crashing already right here, Martin has to kick out and take him out. So there's less of an opportunity to double team Fletcher Cox there. But as a result of Zach Martin being there, it opens up the hole. And if we look at here, at the moment Zeke is retrieving the ball, he sees that Zaire White is crashing the hole, which is what leads him to do the bounce out. And ultimately, it's what sets Zaire out of the play. He runs himself through the hole, and Zeke is able to roll right through it. It is an all-around play that shows a Hall of Famer in Zach Martin how to do the job, and Zeke how to go off of the block to utilize it to its fullest potential. It's an absolutely great play. The Cowboys rip off a huge run on this play, mostly as a result of the Eagles secondary failing to recognize that this is a run. So let's break down what the Cowboys do to extenuate this. First, we have CeeDee's motion coming across the field and possibly looking like a jet sweep action to the right. Epps follows him in formation across the field, taking him out of what the eventual hole will be, which is right here. Also during this play, we have Ferguson doing what really ends up being a cutback block through to hit the first person he sees, but he brings across here, and we're going to watch 29 on this play as we showed through it, as he never engages the hole. He's unblocked in the hole right here, but he's just going to keep on running because he's in man-to-man coverage. In terms of the defensive line, Fletcher Cox is trying to shoot the cap to get the sack, and so is Zaire White. So what the Cowboys end up doing is just some simple down blocks using their momentum against them. Edwards is really the first person on the play who recognizes it's run, but by the time he's caught up, he gets caught in the wash of just all the other down blocks coming at him. So at the end of the day, what really makes this play a mistake is the poor recognition of the safeties, particularly number 25 here, not recognizing that this is a run play. And then what Zeke does is he just is a running back in a wide open hole, man. He just makes things happen. So number 2 certainly recognizes Slay coming over there, and that's who gets crushed by Ferguson. And you see right there how 25 is still looking at the pass, runs himself through the play, and then Zeke just puts on a little juke and runs to the corner. Overall, this is when you oversell to the pass, how the run can exploit you. And again, Zeke is the real deal back there. We can't just be turning him off. So it's a very good play. It's what got the Cowboys to kind of make this feel like they got a chance in the second half. And when you're running the ball like this, and it gives you, hope. It's a real deal. So Fowler is right here. What we're going to see on this play is Mailata do a little chip here, but ultimately shuffle out in anticipation of blocking number 92 right here. As he's doing that chip, he's doing a pass-off situation. So this person is either going to become Dickerson's responsibility or Gainwell's responsibility. Having watched the tape, I do believe it ends up being Gainwell's fault, because as Gainwell crashes in, he's supposed to come in and kick out. Dickerson clearly is taking right here, and there's a little bit of assumption about who messed up, who didn't. It's either Dickerson or Gainwell. And I just happen to go with it's probably not Dickerson, just because of Dickerson's pedigree and the fact that he's playing like an all-pro out there, and Gainwell just doesn't come across and pick up the block. Now, with all of this being said, it doesn't do anything to stop that Micah Parsons was going to get him regardless. But at least you would have been able to stop and let Jalen step up into the pocket and maybe get it open to a wide open A.J. Brown flying down the field. Okay, on this play, we're going to show a good double team block that the Cowboys do against Fletcher Cox, as well as the fact that Zeke is able to get away from a wide open safety coming down to crush him. So let's draw this one up real quick to show what they're doing. Cox here demands a double team, and that's exactly what they get, with the drop of trying to hold on Zaire White right here. As an end result, though, it does allow for a wide open Epps to come right into the lane. And what I really want to highlight here is how Zeke is able to get low and not get affected by this hit. This is really young Zeke, elite power running type stuff. And he is just dominant. I know I've been gushing over Zeke the entire second half, and I hope that, it's something that's coming across, because I do expect his season to explode with greatness. We have a 3rd and short when Philly's up by 10. And what they're going to do is just flat out every gap, we're accounting for it, and we're jumping the snap. You actually see Edwards is already in motion jumping the snap to penetrate the play straight up the middle. The problem with this is that Zeke isn't going up the middle. He's going outside, and he's going to have a lead blocker. And whenever you have a play call like this, whether it be in real life or Madden or whatever, it really comes down to those first 4 steps. Either you get them or you don't. This is a way to counter blitzes. It's an outside run when everyone's blitzing up the middle can give you the edge. Pulling the tackle in that situation doesn't really do a whole lot because there's no one for him to hit because everyone's caught in the blitz. But had it not been an all-out blitz like that, you would have had Martin out there finding someone to tee off on. So I really do like the play. It's an option if you're playing someone who's doing all the time a blitz-heavy action and how to get away from it. So we hope you like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next episode. Once Philadelphia had the big lead, they started to play a little more coverage, allowing Cooper Rush to throw it to them, but he puts this dime right on the spot and just keeps the chains moving. This is an example of Mike McCarthy making in-game adjustments in the second half about how to adjust his team. During the first half, Haason Reddick and Fletcher have lived in the backfield. And quite frankly, if you can give a two-person MVP to a game on defense, it's those two. They are dominating. And the right side of their offensive line has not been reacting well. But the adjustment they did make was universally across the line. When they did double teams on the tackle and rolled out to the inside linebacker, they were able to do that, especially the left side of their offensive line. Now, the right side was having issues with that. So what they wanted to do was play into Reddick's aggressiveness by doing a lane where if the guard's kicking out to do pass protection to protect Reddick, he's going to overshoot it just by natural instinct of trying to get a sack. So they give that guard look. The center does it here on Cox, and it requires the tackle to get out and cut the inside linebacker right here. You see as Zeke goes to the middle of the field and out, there's a straight lane through to get to the secondary. The only issue with this is, as I mentioned, Haason Reddick is the MVP of this game. He gets off that block and just shuts down the play. But still, you're looking at a multi-12-yard game from Zeke. It's a beautiful play. It worked out well, but Haason Reddick is the absolute steal of the Philadelphia's offseason, and the dude deserves a ton of love. Play action is so essential for a good offense. It freezes the Eagles' defense, including Haason Reddick right here, allowing a flip to Ferguson right there for a beautiful touchdown. In this play, the Eagles show that their line isn't just powerful, it's also incredibly athletic, as Miles Sanders gets a huge gain. So let's break down why it worked. So the first is that we're going to get an incredibly good down block to seal the edge right here and actually get penetration, forcing it this way from our right tackle. Our guard comes down and blocks here, and our center comes out and gets the next man. We have a straight kick out block right here on Parsons, who's flat out slow to react. And then we have the tackle come down and around and inevitably pick up Vander Esch right here. Now, the ultimate failure of the Cowboys on this part is that neither Parsons or Vander Esch attacks the point of attack. You see right here, we have the tackle coming up straight here on Vander Esch, and there's just no attack penetration. He just accepts the hit and moves on. If Vander Esch right here gets enough penetration and power to either stop this tackle in the tracks or at least... If Vander Esch gets enough penetration to stop the tackle or even better push him backwards, this play becomes a no-yard gain. Vander Esch basically takes the easy way out on this play, doing patty cake with the tackle and allowing Miles Sanders to run right past him for a huge gain. You stop that play either with Parsons crashing harder and not getting flat-footed or Vanderjagt not getting flat-footed. But since both of them get flat-footed, both of them get absorbed by the blocks, and both of them end up failing in this play. A.J. Brown has elite talent and feel for the game that very few wide receivers have. And we're going to show how he turned this routine 7-yard gain into a huge, huge play. So we're going to pause it right here. A.J. Brown started on the very far outside of this play and saw number 3 coming up, trying to attack him throughout this play. And he knows that he's cheating to the inside because that is where we're going to try to jump the route. A.J. Brown not only adjusts for this, but you can see the way that he's pinning his body in tight to keep the defender from getting to it. So if he gets hit, it's going to be pass interference, but he's also putting that foot in the ground so that after the point of the catch, he can do a spin move. That combination of knowing the defender is coming on the outside to rip the ball away or pick six it, to shield it with your body, and stop on a dime to cut the other direction, people don't have that. A.J. Brown was the steal of the draft, and for everyone who still hates on that trade, you were completely wrong, and this guy might end up winning a ring. The Philadelphia's offense is underrated because it's not super flashy like Buffalo's or Kansas City's, but they can run the ball better than anyone, and they are so complete. You do a play action rollout to a touchdown to elite playmakers, it is beyond unstoppable. The second half of the Cowboys Eagles did bring us a lot there. First, the Cowboys made adjustments overriding some of their bad decisions from the first half, like giving the ball to Cooper Rush and trying to have him win the game. Obviously, that was a bad idea. There were some schematical things that they realized that the Eagles were destroying them with, mostly their penetration, and some good adjustments there. And it really gives hope going into the second matchup in Dallas that the Cowboys will be able to really, participate in that game rather than get blown out early like they did in this one. I do think that from the Eagles' perspective, the hardest game they have left is going to Dallas to play Dak. That's no disrespect to the Giants. I just believe that when we look at the Eagles' schedule remaining in the regular season, that going to Dallas will be their hardest game left. And in terms of the Eagles overall, that's the most complete offense in football. And I just don't see anyone that's really going to be able to step up to them. That Cowboys defensive front is great. They are beefy and they are strong. And they made Michael Parsons look bad consistently. Now, I don't expect that to happen in the second half or the second game, rather. I hope that he just lights up Hurts the way that you should on a play action run or a read option run also, and not let these easy secondary plays happen. Because if you start allowing Hurts to do his read option, you can't beat it. It's unbeatable. So that's how you beat it. I do thank everyone for watching and being with us. Please click like and subscribe. You can look up on top the playlist to other strategies of football you can check out. And we look to see you with you here next week for our next strategy of football.